Hey, Dr. Kimberly, it says we're live. I was fixing my camera.
Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
Oh my goodness. So today is Tuesday, November 30th. Can you believe it that we are only 31 days until the end of 2021 and we're still in a pandemic?
And it only feels like it's getting worse if the numbers are to be believed.
And this is true. But like I said, today is Tuesday, November 30th, and it is, I don't want to say the final day, but just the final day for us to celebrate our veterans, because one day is just not enough. And you are rolling on the road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave, and our special guest today, I'm so excited, is I guess we can say JD, yeah, or Doctor, or how about we just say Director Zanetta Adams of the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
I just think that it's awesome. We were just saying in the green room as I was putting on my eyelashes, earrings, and lipstick. Yes. Some of the behind the scenes tidbits. But yeah, I was telling her that up here to the right of me on the wall is a news article that came out in the Grand Rapids Press. I know you guys think that is so antiquated. What, a newspaper? Because everything is so digital now. You want to know something, you just go online, you pull it up, and who gets print read anymore? Well, I think print is still good. I do. I think sometimes we have to have it something tangible in our hand like this. But I was just saying how we were in the article, how we started out. It was back in 2013. And yes, friends and neighbors, I was walking around. My grandchildren, I have 7 of them. And it's amazing how the oldest one, who is 11, is the only one who can remember that I used to walk. Everybody else just knows that Nana's in a wheelchair or Nana's in a chair. That's just normal for them.
Yeah.
It's just normal. And my granddaughter, who is 7, said she saw this picture of me standing up, peacocking, and she says, "Who's that?" And my daughter said, "That's Nana." "No, it's not. Nana doesn't know how to stand up and walk." And she says, "Well, quiet as it's kept. Nana used to." She said, "Oh, you didn't tell me?" She says, "I didn't know that, there was supposed to be a memo made like, 'Hey, Chloe.'" She said, "Yes." But yeah, so these were during my walking around days. And I would like to say that was our first start. You were still in school to become an attorney.
Yes, I was. That was a while ago, but I'm glad that you were able to remember that. And I do remember, actually, you were walking around. I met you at a table there, and the rest is history. We've been making history too, so that's good.
You know what? No pun intended. Did you catch that, Dave? She made a funny.
Exactly.
Funny. But yeah, we have been.
Yes.
Who would think that 2 women, number one, women both in the military, so we are both veterans and both injured while on active duty. And many women have the tendency to recoil. Dave, you had an opportunity on last week to hear some of the stories that happened while on active duty. We had Heidi Zeller on last week. And it was a great conversation. Unfortunately, I think that we had many triggers, but sometimes those things happen. But this truly is a safe place to have the conversation. And but we had an opportunity to talk about some of our experiences, but it was 8 years ago. It's only been 8 years.
Yeah. That's not a lot of time at all, but it seems like it was a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you to start at the end of the story. And you're directing now the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency. Did I get that right?
Affairs Agency, yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, tell us about that role.
I've been in this role since June of 2019. It has been a whirlwind of a couple of years. Who knew that I would be leading the 11th largest veteran population in the country through a pandemic. But God knew, so He's prepared me for the things I needed and gave me a great team. We do have the 11th largest veteran population in the country, as well as, I believe, the 7th largest women veteran population at 44,000 women veterans. And that's of the 567,000 veterans we have in the state. So my job really is to direct the agency that is the central coordinating agency for veterans resources and benefits in the state. We need to cull the information and really educate the community on what's out there, because as you all know, I'm a disabled veteran as well. And, I was in a wheelchair and now I'm walking, and I remember the stories from my daughter and my kids who, when they first met me, I was in a wheelchair and then am not now. But and looking at all of that, we have a job to do, but the resources are sometimes they're vast, but people don't know that they exist. So our job is to make sure that they know that they're out there and they can call one-stop shop really to get connected to all of the benefits that are out there and resources, including disability advocates.
Excellent. But you're with the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency. So how does the Michigan entity line up with the feds? And I'm not asking you to go to the whiteboard. I like when people go to the whiteboard to explain things to me, because
Yes.
How does that work? Because we're but a state and the VA is a big federal entity.
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's one that I've been trying to help educate people on as well, because we are not the federal VA. So we do not disseminate the actual federal benefits. We help get veterans connected to those benefits. So we provide veteran service officers and connection to other veteran service officers and organizations to get you connected. We educate you on the benefits, but we are not the decider of the benefits. So, we are a state entity that serves, like, when we talk about the property exemption, we talk about some of these other, like the license plate designation and the driver's license designation. All those are state resources that we can help advocate for, we can educate on. But then the federal side, there are three different components of the federal side. We have the Veterans Benefits Administration, the Veterans Health Administration, and we have the National Cemetery Administration. And all of those, like when you're looking at comp and pen, when you're looking at healthcare, all of those flow through the federal VA. How we work to connect you is, if you're struggling, you're having issues with the federal VA, maybe you haven't had your medication in a while and you've tried to reach patient advocate, nobody's helping you, reach out to us. We have some direct connects and we can help you there. So that's kind of how we work in tandem to make sure you're getting connected. We are that stateside to make sure that the federal is doing what they're supposed to do for you.
Excellent. And under a previous governor, before you got into this role, I remember a statistic that Michigan they did a study of estimate of eligible veterans benefits being paid in each state. Mm-hmm. And we actually were like 53rd in the nation, because they included like Puerto Rico and Guam. Mm-hmm. Were we dead last or close to that? So are we doing better?
Well, so here's what I like to do. I like to look at where we are when it comes to compensation and pension. And, we are, I believe we're in the 36 or something, at 36 or 38 for where we fall as to providing those benefits. And that's gone up since where we were before. As far as you're looking at the number for the entire GDX, which is that geographical description, general expenditure list, we are still ranked low, but those things are not something that, what I'm learning in talking with the VA is that's not something we should be judging ourselves on, because there's a lot of that we can't control. So when we look at spending, we look at the fact that there are some states that are higher, but they have, for instance, the DFAS, they have the Defense Financial Services out there. So that's actually adding into the VA payments that they're making and the number of staff that they have. So that makes their numbers go up. There are things like construction, either new facilities that go into that number. So we really can't judge ourselves as a state on being in certain areas when we don't have, for instance, we don't have an active duty base. So, those places that have
Right.
active duty bases have a lot more facilities because they're connected to the DoD facilities. And so I think we just need to look holistically at what we can control. And while we can't control the VA actually providing benefits, we can control bringing people to the table to get them. We can help to advocate there. And on what we can control, we've seen an increase. We've brought in, we actually increased our veteran population for the first time in 11 years since I've been in this position. And that was really educating the public on VA benefits and the resources out there. And we actually brought in $344 million more in federal VA money to the state in the last year as well. So we are improving in those areas that actually we can help manage and control.
Right. Because I mean, I hear stories of folks like that when they retire, they want to be closer to a base because there's those additional direct benefits and advantages of being next to a base.
Yeah.
Dr. Kimberly, she's here in the lovely snow of Michigan, and I know she's loving the snow out there that we've already gotten on November 29th and 30th. But so like a lot of people who might have lived their adult lives in Michigan, and then of course you want to go south where all the bases are and warmer weather. So we can't hold that against us, right?
Well,
Are we stuck?
Oh, she got stuck there for a second.
I think so.
Oh no.
Oh, well, while she's stuck, we're just gonna say welcome. Today is Tuesday, November 30th. Wow, 2021.
The time flies. And Dr. Kimberly, what are the closest veterans like? I don't want to say facility, but like veterans.
Well, I am exactly 6
hospital.
minutes. Yeah, I'm exactly 6 minutes away from the Wyoming VA healthcare system. Exactly 6 minutes away.
And what's over there?
Oh, and she's gone. Okay, we're gonna have to go. I think maybe
she's gonna reboot us, just the way you rebooted. Here she comes.
Well, there we go.
Sorry about that. I don't know what was going on, but I just called it device. I apologize.
Oh, it's not a problem.
We love technical issues.
I think we just live for them.
We do.
It's the age in which we are living. I think that you were speaking about. I had to go take the dog outside because he's in another room. But if I can hear him, certainly the viewers can too. So he's like, I want to get out of my crate. No, goodbye. It's not the purple show today. It's not. But I agree. I think that there has been more awareness as those who are veterans, begin to talk more positively about their experiences that they've had with the VA, services that are available. It gets people intrigued and they're just like, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to reconsider. If you did receive these things, from the VA through the system, how do you do it? So, and I've really appreciated this platform over the last, we've been on almost 2 years now.
It's hard
we're just
to believe.
a few months short of being on almost 2 years now. That means we're coinciding with the pandemic. But just look at how you have increased, Dave, the Centers for Independent Living all across, the state of Michigan and in other states as we talk about services that are available. And I think that was one of the things that veterans really needed, not, scuttlebutt and, fables and tales and legends that kind of, float through the system, but actually seeing persons who have received things from the VA, telling their, experiences, how they were able to do it, connecting them with the right people. I've appreciated everything that you have done, Director Adams, because, you reach out to those who are more vocal or who are advocates within their community and or influencers and say, hey, this is what we have available. And can you get the word out? So you really have used your arms from working from the bottom and going all the way up to the top to say, hey, there are people that are behind me that, or either to the side of me, that can really get the message out. So I think word of mouth really works. And having platforms like this is an addition.
That's great. And I agree. And I think, one of the things I always try to tell people especially since I've been in this role, is that we all can do our part to kind of help, continue to, elevate Michigan on the map for the great things we're doing. I mean, I'm one voice, my agency is one voice. And while we have a bigger voice, all voices are necessary. And so when we it's kind of that cliche, when you see something, say something. We're always looking for for better ideas on how we can not only improve, but how we can advocate more for better resources and benefits. And I'm just so excited about, like you kind of mentioned, Dr. Kimberly, about during the green room, using our platform to elevate those and bring people along. And I think about every single veteran in our state as someone that we need to bring along. And so,
Absolutely. And I think we've had a great time this month, featuring different veterans or those who are associated with a veteran, to let them know what's available. Talk about your experience. We started out the month with, drum roll please, Disability Advocates of Kent County. And Trina Edmondson, who is the peer support person there, and she's connected to the Veterans Coalition. And so that we brought in two major entities there, and to talk about the services that are available, the partnership that they have with the VA within the state of Michigan. That was just phenomenal. And then the following week, we had artist Patricia Alderman, who has worked with the local veterans on, help me, what's that, on Fuller.
Mhm.
Yeah. And how she was able to,
Yes.
Kent County Veteran Services, and how she worked with veterans there to tell their stories. And so she created a piece that was called the Yellow Ribbon Project, that was in Art Prize. So you had more than 30,000 people who were able to, again, see what services are available, know that veterans are loved here, not only in Grand Rapids, but just across the state of Michigan. And then on the third week, we had peer support specialists for the Healthcare for Homeless Veterans, Reginald Howard. So just talking about, if you're a homeless vet, what services are available, that they're not leaving you behind either. How he goes up and down the streets in the areas where the homeless, really populate, and what he's done for them. And even when they're not ready. And, he said that, I want to say, there's a system that they have where he had several veterans who have been awarded more, their 100%, and the VA was looking for them. And they were out living on the streets and did not know, as they're complaining, the VA doesn't care. I tried, but they have been awarded 100%. And so there's, back pay waiting for them so that they can be set up in a home, receive health care and other services. And how he goes and he finds those veterans and makes sure that they get connected and that they know. And those who have been applying, hey, keep trying, trust. There's a day that they have service officers that come in and assist them and basically walk their cases through. And then on last week, we were excited to have Heidi Zeller, who is an Army veteran who happens to be in the LGBTQ community, and just her positive experience and maybe some not so positive experiences that she's had, translating from active duty into back into the community, but definitely had a good reception, especially from Wink. And you want to talk a little bit about Wink?
Sure. So, Wink for All Women Veterans is an organization that I founded in 2014. And Wink stands for Women Injured in Combat. But we look at combat as, if you gone through basic training, then you qualified for the services and opportunities that Wink provided. And really, I created that organization out of the need and desire to have women come together and be a part of this community. Because, you know, a lot of times I've run into women who said, I've never been in a room full of just women veterans before. I mean, in the military, they weren't. And there's so much value in a sisterhood. And so I started that organization because it was really women veterans who helped me to come out of my depression and anxiety and suicidal ideations when I was struggling after my injury. You know, I fell from a deuce and a half truck with the rails up in 2005 and had a few back surgeries. And as I mentioned earlier, I was in a wheelchair and was given the diagnosis that I may never walk again. And so it was devastating, as you probably understand, going from being able-bodied to being told that you may never be able to do things the same again. And so I needed a community, and I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the community. I would be going to these events and I'd be the only woman veteran, and I felt inadequate. I was often overlooked as a spouse. I mean, there were just I could tell you a ton of different things that kind of fed into me being more depressed until I went to a women veterans retreat in 2009, actually. And just really my life started changing then. It was through this connection with women veterans who were struggling with, they had amputations, they had all different kind of things, and they were pushing through. And I said, I can do that too. And so I wanted to create that type of community. And from that community, I saw a need to have a sisterhood initiative as well. And so I worked with Challenge America to create the Military Sisterhood Initiative, which you can go to militarysisterhoodinitiative.com. I believe it's .com or .org. I always get it mixed up. But you can go there and you can sign up for the initiative. And it's an app. It's an online network of women in, I believe it's now, there were at least 15 other countries and the United States. Over 5,000 women connecting with each other, sharing stories, you know, just being there for one another and connecting online, and some of them in person as well through this initiative. So, you know, I believe that there's power in numbers, but there's definitely power in experiences. And when we can bring this often overlooked population of women together, we've been able to create some synergy and change some lives. So.
And we love it. We are now 22 minutes after the hour, and you are watching Rolling on the Road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave. We are so excited. Our guest today is Zanetta Adams, who is the director of the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency. And I mean, just the information that you've given us in just a short amount of time has been extremely encouraging to know that as number one, a veteran, and then number two, to be a female veteran, that there is a place that's safe for us to go and to be able to have the conversation. This is really a historic, you know, role, because we have not had a female in this position, nor an African American.
That is correct. You know, when I knew that I was the first woman and first person of color in this role. What I didn't know when I walked into this role is I was the very first woman veteran cabinet member ever to serve on the cabinet in the state. And that was a little mind blowing in 2019 that we hadn't had any other women veterans. But, you know, Governor Whitmer made that happen. She helped break that glass ceiling for other women veterans to be able to rise up in the ranks. And look, there's still not any, I believe, in the Senate or the House. Maybe we have some in the House now, but I know they're always looking for women veterans. I'm just putting it out there. So, but we need more representation because, you know, we have unique issues, we have unique challenges, and if we don't have a voice in the room to talk about those unique experiences and challenges, then we will continue to experience those.
Right, and the unique wisdom that comes out of those unique experiences, and that what little I know about the state capitol, it could use a little wisdom these days, you know, and people working together to get a job done, to find the job and get it done. You know, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Well, and you know,
I think 2022 is going to hold some really great surprises.
Yeah, I like to assume good intention. So my hope and my desire is that everyone that's there is there for a good purpose. Sometimes getting that across is difficult, but everybody's there for a good reason, and that's to help people. And that's why I'm in my role, right? I'm here to assist people, because not just because I'm given this title, right? I went from being an attorney who helped veterans get connected to their compensation and pension benefits to this role, but it's because I've lived it. You know, I've been through, with the exception, and I can't even say the exception now. I've utilized pretty much every facet of the VA, even the National Cemetery Administration. When my dad passed away last December, he was a veteran as well, so I had to go through dealing with some of that. But you know, I've utilized the VBA, the VHA, you know, and a lot of the programs within it, and having children who are dependents of a veteran, and a spouse, and spouse of a veteran, because my husband's a veteran. So I understand those challenges. I've had to beat my head against the wall a few times to get through to things, and so I have a really good, I guess I could say this, BS detector. So,
It sounds like that military term.
I just was that, I don't know. I just know that I don't just take what's given to me or what's said to me. And I feel like, you know, as we talked about in the green room, you know, I want to be in the room where it happens. It's not so I can have a time. I want to be there so that I can be a voice for those who don't have a voice in the room. And so that's why, you know, recently I was appointed by the Biden administration, the Secretary of the VA, to the Sexual Assault and Sexual Harassment Work Group, which was congressionally directed out of the Deborah Sampson Act. And I don't know if you think about, I was most excited about, you know, first excited about the appointment to this job, but most excited about that one because it's something that I've worked with Wink and the women I work with now. And it's, you know, more women are impacted by sexual assault and sexual harassment as it deals with the VA and in the military. And so to be able to serve my tribe, I would say, it gives me great honor.
And we are truly honored to have you to serve in that capacity. I mean, I couldn't think of a better person. And I would like to go back to something that you said was about the lived experiences. And I just so believe that it is imperative that we tell our stories and people know that I may be sitting here today and I'm interviewing you, but we have a story, and it's the story that got me to this place. You know, it's the lived experience to say, you know what, once I got what I needed, I'm going to turn back around however that, you know, looks, whatever that looks like, and make sure that someone else can get the assistance that they need and that the road is a whole lot easier. I do believe that earlier in the summer, we had an opportunity, Dave and I, to roll on down to Atlanta. We were doing an entrepreneurship week. So we talked to, oh my gosh, that's when we were doing 3 shows a week. And we just talked to different persons who were in business, what they were doing, giving back to their community. And we found a female veteran who was really struggling and didn't know all of the services that were available to her, you know. So we just appreciate it. I mean, we love having the ability to help those or get them the information, or they're able to talk to us after the show. And we say, hey, I feel like, you know, like we Dr. Phil or Oprah or something. Hold on, we have an attorney in residence here. And, and so we're able to pick up the phone and immediately make those phone calls and say, hey, we just had a guest. This is what happened. Or they have a family member. And then it just is kind of like a domino effect. And so I think that it's important that if you have a story, please reach out to us. You know, we would love to have you on. We're already booking for 2022. Can you believe it? 2022 already. But we are booking for 2022. And we're just excited. And we're happy again. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am that you are here, and then we're ending the month with you. And
well, and can you rattle off a phone number for us, Director Adams, or do we?
Yeah. So, you know, we are available 24/7 at the MVAA, and you can reach us at 1-800-MISHVET. That's 1-800-642-4838 or 1-800-MICHVET. And so, all
right, give me that number again. I'm going to put it on the ticker. So it is 1-800
Yep. MICHVET.
MICH.
BET. So Mishvet. Mm-hmm.
There we go. And
Yep.
we're going to click save and click show. And there we go. I love technology when it works.
And
I think we have some comments though. Here we go. So we have a comment that came from YouTube. That's Amber. So we have a YouTube comment. Thank you for gracing the 100 Shades audience with your presence, Ms. Zanetta, and allowing us to benefit from your experiences. We'll put that up real quick. We have Heidi Zeller. She says, hey, don't forget about AMVET's post 77.
Yes, talk about that.
Yeah.
I wanted to, if it's okay, I wanted to add something. You said something that kind of made me, I just want to make sure I put it out there to anybody that's watching that, when I was struggling with suicidal ideations and had decided that I was going to end my life, it was the struggle was real, and I was able to get past that moment. But what really keeps me out of those moments is service. So if you're struggling, do for others, because a lot of times when I was struggling, it was about me being a burden. I kept thinking that I was a burden on my family. They had to take care of me and, push me around, change my shoes, all these things. And I felt like they would be better off without me. But when I started serving, I was using myself to be there for someone else. And it helped me to get through, and it helps me to get through every single day. So, so if you're looking for a way out of what you're struggling with, not only should you seek mental health resources, because I use them.
I do.
No with that.
Kimberly disappeared on us.
Where'd she go? There's no stigma with that, but I will say also that serving others and putting yourself out to help someone in need helps to keep you on a right path as well.
Heidi says she does too.
Yes, exactly.
I'm telling you, I go every other week. And hey, Shana Thomas, she says hello all the way from Bel Air, Maryland. So whoop whoop. And Tracy Walls, she is over there in the DC, Maryland area. She is watching on the day. We want to say hello to Brandon Joseph. Oh, wow. Brandon, hey. He played football with my son at, oh, Jesus. It's been almost 8 years ago at Forest Hills Northern. Hey, Brandon, how are you? Anise Johnson is watching. Paul Mayhew, Laura Witherspoon. We want to say thank you so much to all of you for tuning in on today. Yes. We are actually in all 50 states. We are in 9 countries and about 160 cities. So we're really excited because, we just keep on rolling. But yeah, I think that it is important, especially now since we have been, oh my gosh, on lockdown for so long, and we're able to move around, but we still continue to have different restrictions, and it's imperative that you have someone that you're checking in with. And definitely I agree with you. There are days when I'm in this wheelchair and I'm like, maybe life would be so much better for everybody else without me. And then I look at an inbox. Somebody sends me a note and say, I saw your show the other day and I was about to commit suicide. And you gave me hope that if you can get up every day, you do this show. I see your lives. I see you in the community. If you can do it, then I know that I can do it too. And I was like, whew, don't I feel like a heel for even having those kind of thoughts? But
it's a testimony, Dr. Kimberly. And that is why I think sometimes we go through things so that we can have a testimony to pull somebody else along. So what you're doing with this show and what you're doing, being transparent, it's one of those things that, when I think about being in the role that I'm in, I remember the very first video I did for Suicide Prevention Month. And, they were, my staff was filming me, and I just met my staff and I didn't know them well. And here I am, they're asking me questions about my past and like, when I was struggling, and I started bawling, and I'm like, no, we can't put that on camera. Like, we gotta take that. They're like, no, this is great. We gotta show it. And here I am walking into this role. I'm a woman, right? You know, and I'm crying on camera, and you know, the things running through my mind are, well, you know, you're the first woman in this position. They're going to think you're weak, but you know, at the end of the day, I allowed that vulnerability to show, and it does save lives, and it changes lives, and it allows people to see that even at the quote unquote top, people still struggle. And that's the message that I try to share with it. It doesn't matter who you are. We
Right.
all struggle. We all deal with something. But at the end of the day, it's okay to struggle. But
But
it's
you know
okay.
what? I keep my tissue right here because Dave knows. You know, on the days that we think that it's going to be one of those hilarious shows, I think we all, you know, we end up with our tissues, and we try
Yeah,
to.
and it's the, you know, you're hitting on it, Doctor or Director Adams, that um, Trina Edmondson, who Dr. Kimberly mentioned, she's on our staff, and she makes sure, she's so passionate about us being servants with veterans, as well as being competent servants. And so we've had a number of trainings on the military ethos and those kinds of things. And like the first thing I remember in this training, when you go to the military, it's like, don't ask for help, get it done, you know. And then you get out and you need help, but you've been trained not to ask for help. And it's like, folks, help is available. Ask for it. Ask for it.
Yeah.
I was tagged in a post today, and okay, I got my tissue.
Hmm.
You just never know what you mean to somebody or what you're doing that matters. And that's why when Director Adams said it is important that you look outside of yourself, especially in your darkest moments, because you never know who's watching that might need that strength that it took for you to come outside of yourself. But it says limits, restriction of something permissible or possible. Now you have allowed yourself to be restricted, limited by something physical or mental. So you stopped what was permissible, allowed, and that which was possible because you told yourself you are limited. I have an example of someone who I know and hold dear to me that could have allowed that which was physically considered a limitation not to stop her. Nope, she is not allowing the possible to take charge. She is allowing the possible to take charge. And not only that, she has to look that could have limited her, but she's allowed the limitations to work for her. And I was like, oh, what is she talking about? And then she just said, Dr. Kimberly, we know that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. Limits are what you make of them. I think one of the things that has truly inspired me the most is coming into the disability community. And I want to thank Trina Edmondson and Disability Advocates of Kent County. I thank the vocational rehabilitation program that the VA offers, because they were the ones who said, you know what, we're going to put you with peer support, and we're going to put you in the independent living program, which is a service that the VA provides for those who are service connected. And they pulled me into a community that I did not feel ostracized, but I was able to embrace the disability. I was given a hand up, not a handout, and given an opportunity to live my own self-directed life. You know, there is life after an injury. There is life after, you know, being in a wheelchair or losing a limb or having diabetes. After having a mental breakdown, even after attempting maybe to commit suicide, because Lord knows, there are many a day I looked out the window and I just said, I can't do this, not another day.
Mm-hmm.
I can't feed myself. I can't cook for myself. I can't dress myself. And I can't live like this. I just can't. And the day that they decided to ration care because the weather was so bad, and I did not get care for 2 days and had to lay in my own excrements for 2 days before somebody came, and I had to make up my mind then.
Mhm.
What was I going to do? I could sit here and wallow and die in this, or fight through to live another day and make it better for somebody else, that this would never happen to anybody else, especially not to a veteran, because the VA paid for me to have someone there to care for me, and there was no one. They did not
Mhm.
show up.
Yeah.
And so it's in moments like that where you have a choice. You definitely have a choice. And I'm so glad that I chose to pull myself together to receive the services that were available to me,
Mhm.
because I wouldn't be here today having the conversation with you and Dave.
And I 100%, I admire you being able to share that. And I 100% agree with you that, if we take our moments that we're having and look at them as just a small window into a small point in time, um, then it's easier to get through it. And you mentioned a lot of things, and that resonated with me as I think about where I was at. But pain is one of those things as well, and I'm sure you understand that. And there are people out there that are in pain on a daily basis. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people that, by the time I get into bed at night, I don't stop until I get in the bed, because I know once I stop, I'm
That's
done.
it.
Like I'm out. So those are things that people don't see, but those are things that they wear you down. And so you have to be able to find something that's going to give you that life and that energy. And my service is what does that for me. My knowing that I helped a veteran today, whether it's me personally helping a veteran, whether it's me talking to veterans that are, the family members that, like, I'm talking to right now, or my story changed someone, that is what gets me out of the bed every day and what keeps me going. And so you have to find what keeps you going. And I will tell you what, maybe you're throwing your hands up and you're like, I don't know where to look. Give us a call. You can give Dr. Kimberly a call. You can give us a call. We can help find something for you to help you start,
Absolutely.
or to start off with having a conversation with other women veterans, or other veterans in general. If you're not a woman, we can find something for you. Don't feel like you have to go through this alone. And if I probably need to put this on a t-shirt, but I always say it's okay to not be okay. Like, that's okay. But
It
it's
truly
not
is.
yourself. It's not okay to keep it to yourself. And it doesn't matter what your job is. I serve at a level where it's lonely sometimes at the top. But that's why I have to make sure that I'm talking to someone that I can trust with whatever I'm dealing with, because I can't keep it to myself. That is a affront against my person for me to keep it to myself, because then it continues to eat away at me. At least I have some accountability partners that check on me and say, you know what? Are you doing okay today? How are you handling the stress? How are you handling the death of this? How are you handling all of these things? And so you can't keep isolated. And I know it's easier sometimes to do that, but I don't know who I'm talking to out there, but you can't be isolated.
I think her name is Becky, and she lives in Milwaukee. I don't know. Maybe her name is Sharita, and she's in Ohio. But just know that you have a team of sisters and brothers, in arms, out of arms. Definitely, Dave has been a constant, has been a stable, and Disability Advocates of Kent County. That is, a service that is available. You can go to the healthcare for homeless vets. They have counselors there. You can walk in. Um, there's just a plethora of services. Even if you are outside of the Michigan area, you can always dial 1-800-827-1000, and they can direct you. That's a number that works nationwide, even internationally, I do believe. But again, it's 1-800-827-1000, and they can direct you to wherever you need to be. If you think that you want to commit suicide, don't do it. Trust me, we need you on this side. we definitely need you on this side. Dave?
I mean, in addition to just awesome gratitude, thank you so much for ending this great month with us, Director Adams. Again, celebrating veterans in the month of November, but we will continue to honor veterans every month at Disability Advocates in our work. But my final question is, I assume our current governor provides great support for you in your mission. What are the top 2 things you're going to do for veterans when you become governor?
I love it.
I think that question, not try to be the governor. So, but, I am happy to advise the governor. So I would say, let's continue to move forward and get some more federal resources in this state. So that's what we're working on. But I appreciate your advocacy there.
Say, you know what? I tell you, Dave, he likes to push you out there in that water. But
I'm just looking. I look for good leaders. I see them. I want to follow them. Plural on the screen.
Well, we appreciate that, and I will say that I thank you all for doing what you're doing. I've seen Disability Network as well as Dr. Kimberly advocate in ways that I would never have thought of, for things that I would have never thought of for the disabled community. And so to be able to have a veteran, a woman veteran, a woman of color veteran, as well as, Dave, what you're doing and the support that you're providing, it is truly phenomenal to be able to have people in your position that are looking out for the underdog, really. And I wish that when I was struggling immensely with what I was dealing with, I had you there. So thank you for what you're doing.
Again, you're welcome. And thank you so much for your service.
Well, I always have to tell everyone that my husband affectionately calls him his husband-in-law. And, when I try to make sure, he's the gatekeeper on my mental health, and I greatly appreciate him for that, and make sure that no matter what, on Mondays, he takes everything away from me. You're going to rest today. You don't get to get out of the bed, and just hands me the remote and makes me snacks. And I'm like, yes. Oh, and so I think that's important. And I appreciate that about him. But he will always say, I don't care what you do, just you and Dave have to stay together. And I was just like, okay. So I do appreciate that. But I want to say thank you so much for coming. I'm so grateful for our long history. It has been a good history. And it has been nothing but encouraging. We both have pushed each other along the way, have depended upon one another, and so grateful for where we are today. If you are a veteran and you are anywhere in the United States, you can call, even out of the country, 1-800-827-1000, and you can get connected to whatever service it is that you need. If you are thinking about suicide, I'm telling you, I don't care how bad it looks, how bad it may seem. And even though we did not tell all of our personal information, but we both, as women, and even Dave, we've had some experiences that we can talk you off the ledge. We truly can. It's so much better for you to be here and be able to come on and tell your story and help somebody else who may feel that things look hopeless for them. If you just need someone to talk to, please reach out. We're here for you. If you're looking for service officers or assistants, anything that is VA related, again, you can call 1-800-MICH-VET. Again, that's 1-800-MICH-VET, and you can get all of the help that you may need. If you're a civilian, we don't want you to commit suicide either. We love you, and we are here for you, whatever it is that you may need. And we love all of those who have served and those who have served along with them, whether you're a child, a spouse, a cousin, a friend. a loved one, a partner, know that you're loved, you're wanted, you're accepted, and we so appreciate you. So until next Tuesday, we're winding down. Just so that you know, I will be going in for surgery, so I will be down for a while. So we're just going to do the first 2 Tuesdays. I think by the second Tuesday, I'll be in the hospital. Yeah. Ooh. So send wonderful thoughts my way. I greatly appreciate it if you do that. But you hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and we are going to take a Christmas break. A much needed one. Thank you, Director Adams, for being with us. And you have been rolling on the road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave. Until next Tuesday, please get vaccinated if you have not been vaccinated. If it's been more than 6 months since you have had your last vaccination, please make sure you check with your provider to get a booster. And do not forget to mask up. Please wash your hands. You know, those are standard kindergarten rules. Wash your hands. Stop touching your face, and social distance. And please be careful when you're out there. They say there's a new variant out that is trying to beat the vaccination, but we know, yeah, it's going to be well. Don't forget to take care of one another.